Today we're talking CCNA. Last week we're talking about introducing the whole mentorship program, and we're actually looking at importance of ICT courses, and we then ended where we're introducing the Cisco networking courses. And during the week, we've had an amazing week in the mentorship groups where we've been sharing some free resources. We shared some free resources to access the introduction to computer networking course by Cisco, and then we also looked at some free resources for introduction to cybersecurity, right? So yeah, so we did a great week, and then we also looked at why it is important for any employee to have an awareness of cybersecurity issues, so that you are actually an employee who is more knowledgeable and is not a security risk at work. I can see your charts now. Timon Chisanga, we can hear you. Thank you very much. All the way from Zambia. Chikara Thomas Mangwiro. Thank you very much for joining. Chikara is a very, very supportive member of the family. Very much on point. Archibald Chikore, all good. Sekuru Matosi, all good now. Let's rock and roll. All right. So, before I start unpacking Cisco Certified Network Associate, CCNA, I'll start with a little story. All right. Little story. Just to put things into perspective. It's 2013 in Harare at Park's house. I am training Cisco classes, right? CCNA classes. My students have started certifying. They've started getting good jobs at telecom companies. They've started getting good jobs at banks, and so on and so forth. So you know how it is, word spreads, that if you want to do this course properly, the place to go to is Mr. F's place. Now, this elderly gentleman called, we actually called him Mukoma Michael. Mukoma Michael means big brother Michael, all right? So, Mukoma Michael walks in, okay, to the training center where I am training Cisco CCNA amongst other courses. All right, sorry about that. That's the mic that had fallen there. So, I'm training Cisco CCNA amongst other courses. So, Mukoma Michael says to me, Mr. F, I've heard that you are training this course named Cisco Certified Networking Associate. Now, there's a colleague of mine, good friend of mine, that I used to work with at this telecommunications company. So, this guy is now, a big boss at XYZ company. And he said, in order for me to help you get a job at this company, so this was a mobile network company, one of those cell phone providers. So he said, in order for me to help you get this job, the vacancies are there. But my friend, in order for me to help you get this job, I want you to go and do this course called Cisco Certified Network Associate. And then when you do it, come back and see me. Then I'll be able to place you in the right role as a network engineer or network administrator. So now Kuma Michael, now he came because he didn't have that course that was needed for that particular job. So he came to me and said, please train me. So what I did is, this guy, he was quite a bit more elderly, older than me, but the one thing that he had, all right, is determination. All right, he was a very determined guy. Okay, so what Nkoma Michael did now is that we started training each other, started training him, but I quickly noticed something. Right, he was a bit slow when it came to typing the configurations. Okay, he was a bit slow. So what I then did is, I said, Nkoma Michael, what I'm gonna do is, I want you to practice, these basic computer skills. Every day I would give him something to type. Okay, so he started working on his word skills. because that's all I needed. Because you see, there's quite a few configurations when it comes to Cisco networking. You know, it's practical based. You're configuring network devices, you're configuring switches, and so on and so forth. Right. So, Mkoma Michael, he actually worked very hard, you know, diligently. Every task that I gave him, he did it. And over a few weeks, I started seeing an improvement in his typing speed. On the command line interface for the Cisco networking devices, I then saw that, oh, look, this gentleman here is now getting better and better, you know, with time. And to cut a long story short, right, because Mkoma Mike was very determined, all right, he didn't, he was not the first one to certify, but he is among those students in that class that did get his Cisco Certified Network Associate certification. Like we always say, determination separates people. He had the desire because he'd been promised a job, you see. Unfortunately, he didn't actually get to be placed in that specific role as this cell phone provider, okay, at this mobile network company, but he managed to actually get a job at a different company as a network administrator, because now he had the skill set that was required. So as he was looking for a job now, he could actually open a newspaper and say, okay, fine, I can try this one, I can try this one, I can try this one. Instead of just opening the newspaper and saying, there's no jobs in the market. You know, sometimes it's just a matter of there are no jobs that suit your qualification. Upgrade your skill set. Fantastic. So here we go. So let's talk Cisco CCNA. Right. Cisco CCNA is the entry level Cisco networking course. Okay? Because this time I'm taking a deep dive. We did mention it last week. Okay? We're taking a deep dive now. And this course here, once you do it, the kind of career opportunities that it gives you, you can become a network administrator, you can become a network engineer, you can become a systems analyst. Right now, the whole world is running on networks. Okay? The whole world is running on networks, and there's a great demand for people who know how the network is set up. Okay? People who can put together, interconnect the networking devices. And when I start about talk about interconnecting network devices, Cisco Certified Network Associate CCNA teaches you from making the cables. Let me see if I can find a cable. There you go. I think there's a networking cable somewhere here. Alright. Where are my cables at? That's okay. Can't find my networking cable. Okay, fine. Anyway, the cables that you see connecting to your home Wi-Fi, okay? Connecting to your home Wi-Fi, the cables that are connecting to all your networking devices. Even if you go into a supermarket, you find cables that are connecting to the cashier's 2 point there. Those networking device, those networking cables, right? The Cisco Certified Network Associate will teach you. You have to know how to actually, make that cable. Okay, terminate it properly. You'll be asked about the color codes. You have to know what a straight through cable is what a crossover cable is, all that stuff. So it starts from the ground going up. It's a comprehensive course. And then you get into the actual devices themselves. The wireless access point in your home that your Wi-Fi service provider has installed in your home. You are taught how to configure that in this course. Alright? You have to configure that. And not only do you have to configure that, you now have to go at company enterprise level, where we are saying in an organization that has got maybe some big organizations, right, with maybe 15 wireless access points because they want to cover the whole area. right? What happens now with those several number of access points is that we do not go and configure them one by one. All right, we have what's called a wireless LAN controller. All right, this is where you do the configurations and you push the configurations to the 5, 6, or 10 or 15 wireless access points to a level where when you become a network engineer for maybe a managed service provider, you can be managing wireless access points that are as high as maybe 100, 200, 500 wireless access points, that are connected to one wireless LAN controller. So you're learning all these things in Cisco Certified Network Associate. Okay, making the cables, configuring the wireless access points, configuring the wireless controllers. You go on to the switches. All right, the switches, if you've ever been in a server room, the switches now, this one is close by now, unlike the cable, which I remember I took downstairs. This baby here, this is a catalyst Cisco switch. Okay, all right. If you've ever heard of VLANs, virtual local area networks, if anybody knows what a VLAN is, please drop a comment there. Okay, what a VLAN is and what it does. Okay, I remember I taught one guy and he was working in South Africa and was saying, this job is a bit boring because every day I'm just configuring switches. This organization has got so many switches and every day I'm just configuring switches, so I'm doing the same thing all over again. So you learn to configure switches, because switches, basically what they do is they segment local area networks. In a building, you have got probably say a bank setup, right? Bank setup. See, you've got all these tellers, you've got the accountants, you've got the HR managers, and so on and so forth. All of them have to be connected to the same network. They are getting resources from one server. A server is simply a repository of data. This is where all the data is, the customer's bank accounts and whatnot is on the server. So now all these things are interconnected in one network. Who is managing that network? Is the guy who has got the Cisco Certified Network Associate knowledge certificate, who's got the skill. All right, because there's cables running from each computer, whether it's a teller, whether it's a HR guy, accounting guy, manager, and those cables are running to the switch. Okay, and those cables are going into, this is a 48 port switch. Okay, so you've got a cable running into all these switches. Now Cisco Certified Network Associate will teach you also that, right, we've got the accounts department. Okay, they are connected on the same device, but we don't want the accounts department to have the same level of access as all the other departments. We don't want all the other guys to be able to connect to the account server. Why don't we want them to be able to connect to the account server? Simply because when they connect to the account server, what will then happen there is that, for example, Sekuru Matosi there will then see that, Chikara is earning, $2,000 more than me. You've got access now to the to people's pay slips and the information. So people start, people go on strike basically. So with Cisco Certified Network Associate, it teaches you now to separate users, accounts guys, into their own virtual local area network, and then you now take your sales guys and they are put into a separate network, and you take your managers and you separate them. So there's access control. Okay, this is what you're learning to do. Okay, so is a guy with this kind of certification who is able to do all these things. All right, because what you're now basically doing is that you are now using your networking knowledge. You can even configure what are called access control lists. What do access control lists do? Access control lists, they are basically turning your ordinary router, right, into a basic firewall, right? Even if you don't have a firewall, but if you know how to configure things properly, you can turn your ordinary router into a basic firewall. The Cisco certified guy knows how to do this. All right, can you see how important this guy is at the workplace, right? So now we've got traffic, right? Timon has gone and made a deposit into somebody's account. What is happening to that data? How does the guy in another town get to know that this money, there's a message that appears on the phone, right? This money is reflected. Timon has actually sent me $100 US. What happens to that data? How does it move through the network? From the deposit at the teller's computer, that data is going to run through the cable, okay, to the server room, okay. It's going to go through the switch, okay. From the switch, it's going to go to the router, okay. Your wireless access point. This one is actually a router, It's a router, this one, okay. This one is a router, okay. So it's going to go into the wireless access point. From there, what is happening now? It's going to go to your service provider. That data is going to go to your service provider, okay. Whether it's Liquid, whether it's Zoe, whether it's MTN, whatever service provider you've got, that data is now going to go to the service provider, and that data is now going to be sent through the fiber network to every bank branch. If it's, for example, Standard Chartered Bank, every Standard Chartered Bank branch will receive that data. All right? And because the servers are connected to the individual's accounts, your friend now will say, my money is reflected because they've gotten a message on the cell phone. Okay? But our network engineer there is heavily involved in the whole process. So you can imagine when the network goes down, when there's a network outage, your network engineer gets heavily involved now, because your network engineer must now troubleshoot to figure these things. So even in this Cisco Certified Network Associate course, what then happens is that there is going to be like redundancies that are built in. You can't have one router, you want to have two routers, okay? You then now have protocols. There's a lot of protocols that are involved in this whole setup, to actually now be able to fail over from one router to another. A lot of big companies will have more than one ISP. What is that all about? It's redundancy. If ISP A goes down, right, whether it's Dande Mutande in Zimbabwe, you should be able to fail over to Liquid. Okay? So all these things are now happening, because our Cisco certified guy is able to configure all these things, right? Now, it may sound like a lot of, Greek, but I'll tell you, when you started learning how to drive a car, it also looked like it was very difficult, right? Imagine, what was your first lesson like when you're learning how to drive a car? What was your first lesson like when you're learning how to drive a car? Probably the gears were going. I remember my first lesson. It was not smooth. I remember actually driving an aunt's car, and I went over the curb. I had only done a few lessons. We took it on a joyride, and I went over a curb, and it was not. It didn't end too well. To cut a long story short. Okay, fine. So now, but what happens? With learning how to drive a car, you go to a driving school, and you are learning. And there is a trainer by your side, and in those learner cars, okay, they actually have a brake on their side as well. So that if you forget to step on the brake, they'll step on the brake for you, so that you both don't go through a red robot. So this is it, okay? We are saying that step by step, Mr. F and his team will guide you along this journey, just like we guided Mkoma Michael to say, okay, fine. What is our target? We want to get Cisco certified. Want to learn how to drive a car, okay? So as you move from lesson number 1, okay, to lesson number 2, number 3, practice leads to mastery. By the time you get to lesson number 6, you're getting more comfortable on the driving wheel there, okay? And then by the time you get to lesson number 10, 12, 15, you are actually able, to look outside the window and say, oh, that's a nice car passing there. While you're holding your steering wheel, you're getting better and better. So Cisco Certified Network Associate, it takes about 3 months to train. Okay, 3 months to train this course. With Mr. F's team, we're talking about 60 hours of training. All right, 20 hours per module. It's broken down into 3 modules. I'm going to drop that in the comment section, all this information in the comment section as soon as we're done with this live stream. Okay, today I don't want I don't want it to be too long because I want to avoid technical issues. So just like your learner driver trainer, my team of experts, we've got a crack engineer. I also put his for those who are genuinely interested in coming along this journey, step-by-step guidance with experts. I will give you this guy's profile. This guy, I trained him myself. He did Cisco Certified Network Associate. He did Cisco Certified Network Professional. He's done Security Core. He's now working on his CCIE Security. He is a top trainer. All right. And he's now working as a Line 3 engineer. Okay. Because when you get on the job, right, there's Line 1. You get your Cisco Certified Network Associate guy on Line 1. Fresh and new to the job and so on and so forth. But as you gain experience and learn and probably move on with your knowledge and expertise, you go to Line 2. All right. Where the Line 1 guys, now they can escalate things to the Line 2 engineers. Okay. And now when you get to Line 3, you are now at top dollar. And from our research last week, we can actually just drop in the comment section how much a Cisco Certified Network Associate guy earns. I think we researched last week. We're talking about 25,000 USD. We're talking about 25 to. I'll give you the I'll give you the UK example, right? I actually know somebody, all right, that I've worked with, was working in a restaurant. Okay, was working in a restaurant. On the till there, bar till and whatnot. But this guy said to himself, no, I need to upgrade my skill set. He went and did CCNA. All right. He did CCNA. All right. And he got to certify CCNA and change jobs. And his next job was earning 27,000. Okay. 27,000 a year. 27,000 pounds a year. Just because this gentleman here took the time, all right, to say, just like your guy wants to learn how to drive, you just spend the money and take the time to go through those 20, 30 driving lessons, right? This guy said, okay, fine, I'm going to learn this stuff here. I'm going to master it, okay? Determination separates people. Step by step, he learned it, step by step, and he's going great guns, and he's got all the makings of a top engineer. All the makings of a top engineer. I will not be surprised if he goes all the way to Line 3 because he works hard, okay? So, like I said last week in the first live stream, you have to pay the full price for success. There is no shortcuts, okay? If you want to do shortcuts, fine and fine, you can do shortcuts, but you'll be found out. Either at the interview or in your probation, you'll be found out. You see, there'll be some knowledge gaps that you get, because somebody who learns driving by themselves and somebody who actually does it with an expert trainer, there is a difference there. You don't want to go over the curb like I did, and then you also be in all sorts of trouble. So now, why is CCNA so important as well? CCNA is very important because it sets a very strong foundation and paves the way for you to go on and do other ICT courses. Let's talk cybersecurity. We're chatting in the mentorship group, okay? Guys, if you want to be a top cyber expert, you have to go through CCNA first. Wow, the cybersecurity courses will tell you that there is no academic prerequisites, okay? But I will tell you that 30% of the theory that you come across in the cybersecurity course is networking. And there's this assumption that you have already learned this stuff. Okay? There are protocols. For example, if you are in Lusaka and you want to remotely access a networking device that is in Ndola, you do not drive a car to Ndola, okay, to go and configure that device. You don't do that, guys. Okay? What you do is you use certain protocols that can allow you to remotely access that device in Ndola, and then you configure it from far away. All right? I'm sitting here in Warrington. Okay, I'm in Cheshire, just next to Manchester. I can actually configure network devices that are in Scotland. We've got customers that are far away as Scotland. I can do that from here. All right? But when you go now to go into this cybersecurity course, they assume that you already know these protocols. For example, there's a protocol called Telnet for remote access, which uses port number 23. All right? You can remotely access a network device with that protocol. But the problem is, there's only one problem. It's not secure, okay? It's not a secure protocol, right? I can easily capture the packets and show you all the passwords that are being used. So, we prefer that you use SSH, okay? Secure shell, okay? To remotely access that device using port number 22. So, all these things here, you are asked in interviews. And all these things here, the assumption when you get cybersecurity is that you know what these things are, okay? The assumption is that you already know what a socket is, okay? A socket being combination of an IP address and a port number. That's a socket. The assumption is that you already know network time protocols, okay? NTP, network time protocol, which is used to automatically synchronize the time on all the network devices in a network. So there is that assumption that you've got this knowledge, all right? They say no academic prerequisites, okay? No academic prerequisites. Because be careful, some of these courses, they want your money. All right? And I'll tell you that some of these free courses will just give you basic information. You get hooked in and say, okay, so now pay for it. All right? I've trained several guys, okay? What I'm actually going to do is I'll invite them. But we may need to record and then I'll just upload the video, okay? We may need to record it because some of these guys are so busy. We can't do a live stream during the week. So we may need to record it or do it during the weekend. I'll talk to them. This young man I trained, okay? I'll say his name because, I mean, he doesn't mind. He's done a testimonial for us. I'll share the testimonial, okay, on our Facebook page, right? Right. So, by the way, look out for that Facebook page here. There's a very interesting story that I wrote there about how I got into networking, how I struggled, and how I mastered it, okay? So just go to Mr. F's ICT mentorship, okay? Facebook page. It's a new page. I'll also drop the link. Chikara, please drop the link in the comments for the Facebook page, for Mr. F's Facebook page. And you know what? We're going to do something very interesting, okay? Because I'm in a good mood and we're kicking off some good training courses. I'm going to put some questions on that Facebook page, about 5-6 questions, and you're going to have so many winners. People are going to win big prizes. Let's just say big prizes and leave it there. It's exciting. All right. Last week, somebody in Malawi won a brand new laptop. Okay, Lenovo IdeaPad laptop. After they managed to answer, a 2-part question. So this time I'm putting all the questions on the Facebook page. Please like that Facebook page. Please follow it. There's going to be questions dropping today. All right. Let's just say by 8 p.m. I've already prepared the questions. By 8 p.m. British Standard Time. Okay, that's about 9 p.m. Central African Time. Okay, I'm gonna drop those questions and people are gonna win big prizes. Prizes worth hundreds of US dollars. Okay, right. So Jamal from Malawi, don't worry, we will be delivering your laptop. I think we're gonna ship it next week. By end of next week, and then you should have it in a couple of weeks, okay? So please, these questions are going to come out of what I'm saying in this seminar, yeah? In this live stream, okay? And what is also on that Facebook page. So, so there's going to be some interesting questions. Right. So anyway, we're saying there's that assumption, okay? So I hope you guys get it. So don't just jump into... I was talking about Leonard. Leonard, he came. We trained him CCNA, okay? We trained him CCNA. and then he certified the CCNA, and we also trained him cybersecurity, certified ethical hacker. All right. And if I tell you guys that now, right now, because I was training him in Bank Street. What year was it again? I'll have to dig up my records, but it must have been 2016, 2017, when I was training him in Zimbabwe. Okay, he did CCNA. He did. I didn't even train him personally, because I mean I've got a group of when you've got so many like students, you end up having trainers. But these guys are great trainers. So Leonard is now a cyber manager at KPMG South Africa. I'll also drop his profile. Okay. Alright, but he doesn't mind. Okay. He doesn't mind. Okay. He's now a cyber manager at KPMG South Africa. Amazing stuff. You see? You can change your lifestyle if you're willing. Okay, imagine 3 months we done training you CCNA, 1 month for the special to prepare your CV, and learning the practices and procedures that are used in the real production networks. Okay, these are actually, you're learning this from top experts who've been there, all right, who've done that, who've had a steep learning curve. But we want you to have a gentle learning curve. Want you, when you go on the job, want you to hit the ground running. Okay, hit the ground running. Okay, so that it becomes very easy for you. Okay, fine. So it's just IT certification made easy, but this time we're going a level up. All right, we want you, after you have trained, to then get on to enjoy your first experience at work, because you've done the practices and procedures over 4 weeks for free. This one is free. It's a bonus. Okay, because we're here to help empower. We're giving back, guys. We're giving back. So now, here is a tip. If you want to be a cyber expert, you may not necessarily need to certify CCNA. You train CCNA properly, you understand it properly, you get a certificate of completion, and then you now do a cybersecurity course. We're going to offer a cybersecurity course, which we're going to actually unpack that next week, and we're launching it next week. We're going to be offering that. I was talking to my good friend Stuart Wapwanyika. He's going to be taking that, and he's a top trainer. He was once head of cybersecurity for Lanseria Airport. He actually set up the department. Okay, top dog. Look him up on LinkedIn, Stuart Wapwanyika. I'll drop his profile sometime. And Stuart is so busy, but we're going to work on on a video where we unpack the cybersecurity course, and we'll drop that video next week. All right, and we'll see if we can invite him live as well. He's a very good man. All right, so he's going to be teaching that cybersecurity class. Okay, so you can do CCNA. You don't have to certify it. Get certificate of completion, then go on to do cybersecurity. Then you certify the computer cybersecurity course that we'll be offering. Okay, that now, we armed with that now, my friend, and you can do all of that within a year. 4 months working on your CCNA, and then probably 2 months working on the cybersecurity course, then another month to prepare you for on the job and to get you certified. So we're talking about 7 months. 7 months, you can have a scorching hot CV. You can have a scorching hot CV. All right, I'm cognizant of the time. I want to wind up in about 7 minutes. Now I'm going to move on to a very, very exciting project that we're working on for the first time. All right, in at least Africa. We're going to be offering CCIE security. All right, CCIE security. CCIE security course at a price that is an absolute giveaway. All right, we're gonna review the price and everything next week. But if somebody Googles CCIE security, and how much it pays, this is top dollar. I think that's about the point where it got into last week. We're talking about in England, in UK, 70,000 US. With CCIE security level knowledge, not certification, knowledge. When I say knowledge, is you have trained properly with experts, you have mastered the skill. You now know how to configure firewalls. You now know how to configure VPNs. You now know how to configure ICE identity security engine. You now know how to configure several technologies, and you've got the skill set. If you put in a technical test, you can pass it. All right. And this course, we're going to be offering it with a master trainer from India. Remember, I've been to India twice. Mr. F has got lots of friends, experts, top dogs in this industry. And this expert here, he's been doing this training for more than 10 years and producing CCIE certified guys. Okay, about a decade of experience. We're doing a live demo with our friend next week. Don't miss that one. Most likely to be on Saturday. I wanted to do it this weekend, but this weekend I'm out of town. So we're going to do it next week. So once you do your CCNA, the prerequisite for you to join our Mr. F's Academy CCIE security training is you must have trained CCNA. Don't worry about the certification. Just like cybersecurity, you must have that knowledge, that skill, CCNA level knowledge under your belt. And we can take you on board CCIE security. If you have done CCNA a long time ago and you've forgotten, don't worry, you can do a refresher course. You can do a quick boot camp, okay? Quick boot camp over 2 weeks, sort you out, get you to refresh, and then boom, you join the CCIE security track, all right? So that's also possible. But if you have never done CCNA before, all right, you may have to wait for the next batch. This is just an opening batch, don't worry, guys. It's an opening batch. It's got a special prize, giveaway prize. And as I am winding up now, right, there are some serious prizes which include scholarships for the CCNA training, scholarship for the cybersecurity training, and scholarships for the CCIE security training. So those prizes are there to be won, most of them today, because what we do is we just look at the first correct answers. But there's so many prizes that maybe you'll have, even if the answer is correct, you can give away prizes to maybe 3-4 guys with the same correct answer. Okay, we can do that, but it's got to be, according to how I've asked the question. All right, most of the stuff is just coming from today's stuff, what I was telling you guys about as we're discussing CCNA. All right, and then yeah, most of the stuff is coming from there. Some of the stuff will come from what's on our Facebook page. But the winners are going to have to be people who have subscribed. Please subscribe and like our channel, and also please follow our Facebook page, all right, to get regular updates, about offerings that we're going to be giving you. There is in the comments to the live stream from last week, there's links to, I think, 2 or 3 free courses: Introduction to Cybersecurity, Introduction to Networking. So please go and check that out, all right. And you can actually sign up and start doing that free training. All right. So in closing, I've got a short little story about one of my students. This guy now, I end up becoming friends with my students. I mean, family with family. Okay. So Wanda, okay, I'm mentioning him now. I was just chatting to him earlier. So Wanda was working for an NGO in Chipinge. All right, that must have been 2015, I think, because I wonder if you are tuned in. Okay, you can correct me if I'm wrong with the year there. I was just chatting with him a while ago. So he was coming for a weekends class. He was a dedicated man. You drive every Saturday, you be there, way ahead before all the other guys were there. He was there. Okay, so we trained him. Mr. F, please help me. I'm troubleshooting this network. I think there was a VoIP configuration there, if I remember, So it was very interesting. So chase after the knowledge. The man will chase the knowledge. And these courses will take you places, okay? So guys, remember, it's all up to you to upgrade yourself, okay? Don't wait for that cousin, that brother, that sister who is overseas to send you money. Don't wait for them to feel sorry for you. Okay, take 100% responsibility for your own life, okay? Get to work, study hard, upgrade your skill set, just like what Nkoma Michael did, and make your CV suitable to get those top jobs. Because believe me, guys, there is a global demand for Cisco certified engineers and for cybersecurity engineers and for Python engineers. So, family, thanks very much for tuning in to our second live stream where we're unpacking CCNA. I'll just drop a bit more information about the syllabus, what it involves in the comment section a bit later. So thanks very much, guys, and we'll